All righty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Collaborating Connections Professional Networking Group. My name is Dawn Evans Casey, and I'm the leader. Our group has been around as part of the TTR Networking family for, let's see, we've been around 4.5 years, and TTR Networking has been in existence for well over 11 years already. We started out meeting in person in various geographical locations, but since COVID, we have gone to the virtual Zoom format. It allows us to meet with wonderful professionals from coast to coast across the United States and even abroad. So we really enjoy that. We really enjoy meeting individuals. We've had visitors from Canada and the UK and the Netherlands, and I look forward to meeting many more. So TTR networking is more than just making business connections and referrals. It's so much more. We are focused on relationship developments. And in fact, the rescue part of our parent group organization is all about R for rescue, E for education, S for success strategies, C for community, U for understanding, and E for execution. So there's so much to us as an organization. Not only do we gather to build relationships and focus on learning, development, being our best selves as individuals and business leaders, we also love to give back to our communities and nonprofit groups that we are interested in. So that's a big part of what we do as well. At this time, I am going to, I'll run through the agenda of what our usual meetings look like. We open up the meeting, give a little bit about our organization, and have a chance to talk about some wins or some exciting news that has happened within our businesses within the past week or coming up soon. That is generally followed by highlights of what's going on throughout the TTR networking organization. Then we do our roundtable of member businesses and visitors. So we invite everybody to do their elevator pitch, introduce themselves, who they are, and what their business is all about. Of course, we love to hear what types of referrals each business is currently interested in seeking. Following that, we always have a topic of the month that is kind of leads or focuses our professional development or discussions. So this is the month of June, and our topic is juggling and just doing it, just getting things done. So we want to make sure that we focus on work-life balance. Is it possible? Yes, it is. How we manage our business and our personal lives effectively, and how we can best manage our businesses, our branding in the public spectrum. So all of that being said, we're going to start off talking about any wins. And as we're just rolling off a holiday weekend, Memorial Day was just yesterday, I hope that everybody's got something positive, something fun, at least to share. So I'll open the floor. Please share with us any wins or positive things that you would like to share with our listening audience.
Okay. So I don't, well, I've got a very busy couple months coming up with music, which I keep sharing every time I'm on your call every week. But That is a big win for us trying to get back into the swing of that, because I do a lot of music, used to do a lot more, and things are starting to pick up again. I guess I was going to say it's a win to be busy enough, to be busy to the point where I'm like, I don't even have enough time to put everything on the website. So I would just say it's not necessarily a win that we don't have everything on the website, but it's a win that we're so busy that we don't have it on the website, or everything on the website. So we do have a lot of things coming up, and the juggling and the just do it and all that kind of stuff. Thank you for the just do it. I think is kind of, I kind of forgot that whole theme, but I think that's a really good one. If you're not willing to just do it, I think you're missing the boat. So just do it, put it out there. That's a win. I would say if you are not, I don't know, there's something I was talking to Nicole about the other day that she said, you put it out to the universe and it came back to you, and it wasn't the music, but it was something else. But it's just like, oh my gosh, but you just have to do it. Just do it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, when you put it out to the universe, then everybody hears it, and then the universe works together to make sure that you get as close to it as you possibly can. And if not, to succeed at it. Maybe not the level you think you're going to, or we'd love to, but anything is better than where you are now, right? So even if you were trying to meet 20 new people and you only met 10, you met 10 more people than you were going to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So the win is go out, put it out there, and just, not sit back, but make sure you do everything in your power to help the universe bring it to you. But then be happy that you're busy enough that you can't get it all done. I'm just like, wow. So anyway, I don't know if that's a win, but that's my win. There you go.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that, Jennifer.
You're welcome. Who knows? Crazy person that I am.
What have you got, Nancy?
Business wise, I don't have anything, but I will say personally wise, I will notice I've got two neighbors they're both older. The gentleman has cancer. So the other person is cutting his grass for him every week. And it's like, that is such a nice thing to do. And he even uses the guy's lawnmower,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my God, that is so sweet. And I would send them something, but I have no clue what their names are because we're not that close.
Well, there's an opportunity for you to get out and meet your
There you go.
neighbors and
every
build
time
some
I'm out-
relationships.
There you go. Every time I'm out, I usually have dogs, so I can't get too close, so it's like, oh, so we have to like yell across the driveway or something. So it's like,
Yeah,
but yeah.
that's
it.
wonderful. I love that idea. There's always so much negativity in the news. To be able to lay your eyes on
Mhm.
good deeds being done
Yes.
kind of renews your spirit and, reminds us all there is still good in the world and
Yep.
it's worthwhile. And, just seeing the human spirit do something positive for another without expecting anything in return.
Right.
There's a lot to makes you feel good. It probably makes that neighbor feel good that they can help, and certainly for the neighbor who's ill, that's got to give them some peace of mind that somebody sees them, somebody cares about them.
Right.
So yeah, good stuff all around.
Mhm.
All right. Well, let's see, my good or positive. I was out of town this past weekend for the holiday. It was actually a genealogy family history trip for myself and my husband. We do this annually, and Jennifer, you mentioned Nicole said something about putting it out into the universe. She said the same thing to me. I I had spoke about this trip. We shared it with family members that we were coming their way, and the opportunities to connect and share and hear some wonderful stories and have some wonderful encounters were abundant during our trip. So we gathered lots of family history information in the form of written documents, sitting down with some wonderful family members and gathering their stories, and then putting that information out on social media to share with others who may not be aware, did not have the experience, don't really know the power of researching family history. So all of that goes into, my toolkit for my Claiming Your Roots nonprofit organization. And again, overall, just made us feel really good to be a part of something positive over the past several days. So it was a busy time. We didn't get a whole lot of sleep. We did a whole lot of driving, a whole lot of running around, but it was all well worth it. And now that we're back home and I'm back at the desk at my daytime auditing job and picking up the pieces with the other projects that I'm working on, I feel enlivened and energized to go forward with the rest of the week. So it was good overall. At this time, I would like to invite Jennifer Johnson to give us some TTR networking updates. Jennifer, what do you got for us?
Muted. Okay, no, I'm not. Now I'm not. We have a lot of things coming up in June. We have almost every month we have regular stuff, but this month we actually have our in addition to our meetings, our group meetings that meet every week, which I would just put out there again, you do not, and I don't know that I've said this on this call, but you're not going to really find the information for the Zoom calls anywhere unless you're connected to the group, whether you connect with the leader or you connect with me or whatever. We don't just put the email or the Zoom information. We've had people that will join us that we don't want on the call. So we do have to be a little bit of kind of screen the calls. But anyway, having said that, we do have the 14 groups, and we do have this month we have on Monday, June 20th, we have our speed networking, which should be on there soon. I don't have it up there yet, but it is June the 20th, and I am going to hopefully get that done yet tonight, because that is one that a lot of people do look for, and we want to make sure. And that is on Zoom, but it is a speed networking. So you do a little breakout room with each, probably 3 to 4 rounds we do. And that's just kind of like speed dating. You literally give your elevator pitch, and then you figure out, if it makes sense to meet further, then you may schedule another meeting or whatever. And not all the attendees are right here in Indianapolis. So it's a variety, but that's on Monday, the 20th. And that's usually at noon to like 1 o'clock, 1:15, something like that. And I'll have that out there. But so that, and then we do have a presentation as well. And I'm trying to get more specifics on the 15th of June, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow already. TTR presents, and we're featuring Margaret Broadus, who is one of our members, actually probably one of our older members, as far as she's a retired nurse.
Mhm.
And her whole thing is all about choice, making good choices. And she's going to talk about that from experience. She works with a company called ACN, and they do I think there's a lot of different services they offer, but she's not really going to be selling her ACN, but she's going to talk about going along with the juggling and just do it. It still remains that you need to make good decisions and good choices about what you're doing. If you're wasting time in something that is, or something that is not really making the most of your time, if you're, the choices are what it's all about. Prioritizing what makes the most sense. What do you need to do? And obviously ACN, they look at all the services that we all pay for, and they're able to tell you what would make the most sense, I believe. But Margaret's going to talk about her experience in life and just, kind of going back to, she's done very well for herself. And I just asked her if she could kind of talk from that perspective of making good choices. And then the education is really the main thing. And then she'll do a little commercial at the end, but that's on Wednesday, the 15th. We haven't even come up with a name of the program yet, but I know we're going to do that. She just confirmed a date the other day. Okay. So that would be on Zoom at 1:00 on Wednesday, the 15th. And then I also have a presentation that we're going to do on the 23rd, which is a week later. It's a couple days after our speed networking. And what we're going to do there is we're going to talk about, we did, should I network? Well, yes, everybody should be networking, but what are the 7 factors to consider when you are looking at a networking organization or becoming part of a network? And so we're going to talk about that on the 23rd, and that's at 5:00 on the 23rd. So on Zoom. So those are a couple of the things. And June is usually a time when people are doing a lot of vacationing or kids are getting off. And so we try to keep regular stuff going on, but we understand that people are on vacation and stuff. So, we do record these and we try to put the links out on the different social media platforms that we're on. So, if you miss something and you'd like to catch it, I know that Dawn does do this group meeting as well. Not all of our groups record their meetings. So thank you for doing that, Dawn. But that is, we have a lot of people that catch them later. So thank you for doing it. I appreciate it.
Great. No, thank you. Yeah, June sounds like a pretty busy month. I know. Yeah. I'm particularly interested in the speed networking and the TTR presents about choices that supports the June theme of juggling and just do it. So we'll share that information on the Collaborating Connections page as well. And hopefully members will share that out to their networks in order that we have a good turnout, or at least good coverage in listening to those recordings. So thanks again, Jennifer.
Thank you.
We will now move into the roundtable introductions. And while we are doing our business introductions, let's share if your focus has shifted at all based upon now we're going into the summer and warmer months. If there is any particular focus of referral that you are looking for, please share that. Or if you've got any particular events or marketing changes that are specific targets, be sure to share that information as well. Okay, so let's get started. And I am going to invite Nancy Vesely. Are you ready to introduce yourself and your business?
I am. Nancy Vesely, IHC Specialty Benefits, health insurance, life insurance, dog and cat insurance, and Medicare. are my primaries. I've started with the education sessions bright and early. And we're trying to get more people to our locations. Based upon Dawn's idea, I've done Eventbrites for both of them. They are out on the community calendars. I think we have them posted in TTR.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, anybody else has some idea, and we're doing actual postcards to people that we have their addresses through send out cards.
Oh, good.
So far, we have not seen any. If anybody else has any bright ideas, please throw my direction, because you get there, you get set up, and then you get to talk to the other person who's with you because nobody shows.
Right.
And we usually brainstorm and come up with stuff. I mean, it's just like we don't just sit there and do nothing, but it'd be nice if we could educate people.
Yeah. What are the dates, if you don't mind sharing? The dates and times.
They're all like a 12 to 1. And in June, it's like at Sheridan Library on the 6th, we're there. And the 17th. I can post it on TTR. We have cards for both of them.
Okay,
I'll post
great.
on TTR. But so far we haven't achieved any people showing up. The other thing Nicole suggested, and I thought it was a really good idea, and I ordered them last week, is she said order a large card from Send Out Cards with the flyer, and then just have it sitting on the desk. And then I ordered another one to see if I could sit upstairs on the information desk while we're there.
Yeah.
And then I just pick it up on the way out. And I mean, I never even thought about that, because those things are pretty nice size. I mean, they'd be eye-catching.
Mm-hmm.
And I should hit one up. I should hit a couple up for Sheridan. I was doing the Westfield ones. Also, next week, I've got 3 presentations on the list for the week, because I didn't know I could move them around a little. They're all in one week.
Okay. Are you
But
ready?
Pet foraging on the 6th, Pets Life After You on the 8th, and then microgreens and sprouting on the 9th from 6 to 7:30 at the Westfield Foundation up on Greyhound in Westfield. So they publish a quarterly book. So I got in on those. And so far for Monday, 3 people are signed up. But the only problem is, I bet you it's Nicole and her 2 daughters.
It's what?
Nicole and her 2 daughters.
Oh.
But
not-
hey, it'd be good to start with a small audience, because I'm not, I'm just starting it, because I've signed up for these. And then I think it's September, October, November, I redid them again.
Okay.
It'd be good to start small so that I don't have a lot of people in there with a lot of questions. So we'll see, because my one fear is someone with a reptile is going to walk in there and ask for ideas on foraging for their reptile. And it's like, I have no clue. I know there are people that do it, but I have no clue what it is.
Okay. Okay. But that gives you an opportunity to build a relationship, and at least,
Right.
you may not know the answer, but you can connect with someone who might be able to help you answer.
Right.
So
There you go.
good. I am so glad that you are kicking off these presentations. And what I'm going to do is, when I send out the information forwarding, following our meeting tonight, I'll include in the verbiage of the email that, we often think about referring our members to a potential client, but a referral is also passing on our members' information. And as you're doing these presentations and looking for an audience, we may know people who need to be in your audience. So forwarding on your presentations and events is another way of connection and referral that we should be actively doing. So I'll be sure to encourage that in the notes
Okay.
of the meeting.
Thank you.
If there's anything else that we can do to assist you, just let us know, Nancy.
Okay, thanks, Dawn.
You're welcome. Any questions for Nancy Vesely and IHC Insurance? All righty. Well, we will move on. Jennifer Johnson. Are you
Yeah.
ready to introduce yourself and your business?
Sure. Hold on. I'm sorry. It sounded like I was having a major catastrophe there. I am Jennifer Johnson. I am the founder of Ttr Networking, and I position you to stay top of mind in authentic ways with personal and professional connections. Actually, I want to go down the professional connections way. We do have a lady in our network who is a love coach, and that is not what I do. But I do help people be your client's first choice. So just help you be that top of mind person. So I would just say to Nancy, as she is marketing, I see her stuff. We do post it out on there. And I know Nicole's done a lot of that, but a lot of it is just making people aware of it. You know, your timing may not be, their timing may not be right this minute. And there, you know, the more we post it and the more you put things out, I know it's got to be a little frustrating when you're trying to get these things to happen. But I think you also, you know, it's people knowing that, hey, that's what Nancy does, you know, and if we can go on there and share it and all that. But so I am also I'm a relationship marketing coach. I am affiliated with a company called Send Out Cards, which I know Nancy alluded to a minute ago. But and I'm also a Canfield trainer, which is the Success Principles. Jack Canfield has the Success Principles book that's got 68 principles, all about, you know, how do you know, what is success, and you know, everybody's definition is a little different of what success is, but it's stuff that we do within our network, goal setting and the themes and all of that. Where, you know, I mean, this one is kind of an interesting month when we're talking about work-life balance. There's this whole thing now that's out there about work-life integration more than the balance. You know, it's just figuring out how to balance these things. I mean, so much of what we're all doing now is we're finding pockets of time where we do this and this and this, because so many people are not going to a physical office. They're still working, but it's just integrating it within, you know, what their hours are, because so many people are now not even in a physical brick and mortar office anymore, or, you know, or they can do their job wherever. So this is interesting. It was funny. You said that you believe it is possible. And I think that is, but I think it's an interesting thing, because I had a call this morning. I'll make it really quick. This morning with one of our groups, and they all said it was possible, but then they proceeded to say that they spend a lot of time feeling guilty, like mommy guilt and daddy guilt. And, you know, but there are these people that are entrepreneurial people, and they're either on a computer or, you know, they're doing something with their clients almost all day long. And but then they're also finding time to spend with their kids, so they're very busy. So it's, you know, it's a juggling act every day. So I mean, it was just kind of like, you should feel really good about yourself, because everybody in this group is in the same boat. Nobody's got this whole thing figured out, you know, and it's gotten more difficult. I mean, we can jump on a call like this, on a Zoom call, but now like I said earlier, I'll save it for our conversation later, but I'm assuming we're going to talk about it a little bit.
Yes.
But this whole work-life balance thing has gotten so much more, it's easier, but it's also, I mean, it's like we've got different ways we can do it than we used to, but my gosh, what does that mean? You know, you're doing more of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So go ahead. Sorry, that was my spiel. Who do you know who's out there that needs to be connected to a good network? We have good people that are part of our network, and we would love to have more people visiting. So thank you and
Yeah.
join.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. I
You're welcome.
just would like you to quickly address, for those who may be listening to this Zoom meeting, what's the best way to engage or to connect with TTR Networking if they've got somebody in mind or they themselves feel like they're interested and ready to be a part of the TTR networking realm?
You know, that's a good question. They could send me an email, which would be Jennifer at To the Rescue IN. So it's all written out, Jennifer at To the Rescue IN, like Indiana.com. Or you could go on, you could actually go on our website, and that's ttrnetworking.com. We have an interest form, and I'd love to have people get on there and, you know, sign up or, you know, fill that interest form out, even if you just want to, you know, spend a few minutes talking at some point. My information's all over the website. So you could reach out, and then we'll make sure you get the right Zoom information or connect you with the right leader. You can visit a couple times before you need to, you know, commit to a group. And we just are all about trying to build relationships, really, so that you are number one on, you know, when your client is doing something and they need your service, there's nobody else they think of. They think of you. But that's a lot of work to get that. So somebody who thinks they're going to join a network and just have it happen overnight, it doesn't work like that. And most of the people that come in with that idea end up actually going otherwise. They leave because they thought it was going to be instantaneous business, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it depends on but if it works too fast, then you should be a little bit suspicious of what it is you're trying to do. Because anyway, so I would just leave it at that. But that is a good question. They can go right on the website, and we have an interest form. So be very happy that way.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. I really,
thank you.
I'm happy that you shared that there are options on how you can get connected. And just to explain that, you know, you may not know if you're ready or not, but you, Jennifer, are open to having that conversation, answering questions, and the groups are welcoming visitors to come kind of kick the tires and check us out and see what we do. And we welcome visitors, and we're growing most of our network groups. So we want people to know you don't have to have it all figured out, certainly, to come visit us and be a part of TTR networking. But we're just looking forward to meeting some wonderful new business partners and individuals. So thanks again, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Any questions from anybody else for Jennifer Johnson and TTR Networking and her relationship marketing business?
Jennifer, prior to 2020, how much singing did you do compared to networking? You know?
Nancy. No, that's a good question. What to me, okay, so I was probably doing about 4 to 5 music jobs a week, which didn't happen on Mondays or Tuesdays, usually happened Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday afternoon, occasionally on the weekend, but very rarely because, well, I would do music on the weekend, but the weekend was usually like if I was doing a bigger job with a group, you know, like a wedding or something like that, that would be on a weekend. So when I look at it, I've said that, you know, it blows my mind because I was doing so much. And I was telling these ladies, I know Dawn and Nancy, I was talking earlier, that I don't know where I fit it, because now it's just, I don't have enough hours in the day. And if I get out of the mode, I was driving all over the place to all these meetings. And then I was going to music jobs, and how I was doing all of that and getting anything done, I really don't know what I was doing. But what I guess when you're talking about work-life balance, there was no line between, you know what I mean? I just did everything I needed to do. And there wasn't like, because I get paid for my music. So to me, that is my work. It just happens that I love it. And I used to think, why do I love that? There's something, the same kind of adrenaline gets pumping as when I'm introducing people in the networking world. You know, I got to be honest, music is number one. But when things get going and people are getting introduced, and I'm like, there's so much energy in this room, and there's people that should be doing business together. It's the same kind of excitement that I get out of my music and connecting people. So I think that was what kept me fueled. It was just like, there's something. But I did a lot more music, and obviously the pandemic made that very difficult. And this is not last year, but the year before, did one Christmas music job, and got COVID. One compared to 100, and it was like, are you kidding me? One music job, and we had been so careful. Anyway, that is in the past. It's fine. But now, as things are picking up again, I'm like, I don't even know how I'm trying to so the integration thing is really a big deal to me. So I don't know, you didn't ask that, Nancy, but I have no idea how I did that before. What I do believe, though, is there is that common thing between my music and my networking leading, or whatever, my group stuff. So that when I integrated, or I kind of blended it, and I started to share my music in my networking world, it opened up the door to so much more business. I mean, it really did. It's just unfortunate the pandemic kind of closed the door on the live music stuff. But I think I don't know if that makes sense, Nancy, but I want people to know that you can I think it's so cool when we hear about your birds, and we hear your birds in the background. That's what makes you who you are. And, you're going to, maybe you haven't, but you're going to have somebody somewhere along the way is going to say, I thought it was so cool when I could hear your birds. You're my kind of people, or so, that's, I don't know. You know what I mean? So I want people there shouldn't be that you should be one thing in one environment and something in the other environment. I feel like we all need to be finding our thing that makes us who we are, and be proud of it and share it. If your birds were on the call the whole time, Nancy, we'd probably all say, will you please get those birds out of here? But it's kind of cool when we hear the birds and we know that that's part of your world, we all know that. But anyway, so I don't know how. I got to work on that blending thing. I'm just not doing a real good job of that. I've got to, that's why this integration and work-life balance thing to me is so, I just want to hear what other people are doing and how they're doing it. I don't know, but I was doing.
I think you're doing a better job than you realize, Jennifer, because we see it. You may feel like it is still kind of separate and whatever, but I think when we see you as an individual, we see you integrated as a singer and a networking leader and an organizer and relationship marketing coach, all that stuff. So maybe it's just because we know you now so well, but we do see it. So
well, thank you.
You got something working there.
I guess that's what I want everybody to get, that you can be who you are and not be afraid to be, that should be something that you're bringing to the table. So thank you for saying that. I am kind of crazy, and people still get my voicemail and will say, well, I wasn't expecting that, because they get to my voicemail and it's me singing and they're like, oh, I didn't know that was coming. Well, I forget it's there, but anyway, but I think that's what I would like to believe is I'm working to integrate. I'm still trying, but thank you for saying that, Dawn. So yeah, I was doing a lot more music, but I wasn't doing as much networking. I think I'm doing more networking now. And now I'm saying, okay, now I got to make time for the thing I really love to do. So it's just, how do I do it? But thank you for asking. I'm working on it.
Cool. Cool. Any other questions for Jennifer Johnson? All righty. I am going to invite Mr. Robert Hailey. Are you ready to introduce yourself and your business?
Sure. I do apologize for being late. Robert Hailey, Bay First National Bank, formerly known as First Home Bank, still the same, one and the same. I do a holistic approach to every client to help them understand basically short and long-term goals as it apply to either buying a home or refinancing a home, just to consult, the first and foremost. So we make sure we're all on the same page and we understand we have a program to help them get there where they want to go. I've been in the industry for over 25 years. We are a bank that do loans in all 50 states, even Puerto Rico. Right now, the market has shifted a little, not a little, but a lot. So it's no longer as a seller's market, because rates have climbed tremendously, and as well as inventory is real low. What we find, and over the past 30 days, you see that home pricing has gone down some in certain states. So they are leveling the rates, and it has leveled off and brought people back to reality, I call it, because you can't think you can sell a house for whatever. So reality is sitting back into people, because with the rates going up and the housing prices going up, you have no buyers. The buyers that can buy can't afford the house, the price, nor the rent, the mortgage payment, nor the price of the home. So that's a big difference. So you find that's going to start selling it back down a little bit more and bring things more in line. So that is happening as we speak. So if someone's been trying to buy a home, now's the time. Get up, don't wait. You can take advantage of this in between market and find a niche for yourself. So again, Robert Hailey, First Home Bank, Bay First Financial.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
Do we have any questions for Robert Hailey and Bay First?
I know, Robert, with your, was Nancy saying something?
Yeah.
With your Bay First, is it seeming like people are following? I would think that's a tough thing to get everybody to. Has your email changed as well? I'm not sure.
Yeah, communication is going out. You can still send it to First Home Bank. I'll still get it, but also communication. Anyone that has my email got an email from my company, from the bank itself, and it goes on the website. Anytime you would correspond, it goes out and let people know about the name change. So it's really telling people as any information, tell them who we are. We're still the same bank. We just changed the name to match up to our parent company, which is Bay First Financial, with Bay First National Bank, and as well as it helps us to line up with our stock as well. So everything's lined up that way.
I guess I would think any company that changes their name, they're going to be dealing with a certain amount of time. There's no matter what you do, it's just. But you're still getting the emails for a while, because I'm thinking, I don't even know if I've changed your email on my information.
If you send me an email to First Home Bank, you'll get another email as well, letting you know about the name change and all that. But also, I will get my emails still.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Because it's still, even with me when I'm dealing with people, I still say First Home Bank. I said we're First Home Bank, but our name changed over to Bay First. Bay First National Bank.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
now, go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Have you been Did you start out, you said you've been doing that work for like 25 years. Did you start out with that company?
No,
no?
no, I started off, I started off in my business with, which is with HSBC, started off working as a career originating and junior underwriting loans when I first started in the business. Then I moved from that. I was there for 2 years, and I moved over to Oak Street Mortgage, and that's where my time is at Oak Street Mortgage. And we was Oak Street Mortgage when we was sold to another company. We was with them for a year, and then 14 of us created Royal United Mortgage. That's still existing as we speak. So my bulk of my time, I guess I would say 16 years of my time was between Oak Street Mortgage and Royal United. And then I spent time doing reverse mortgages for a minute, solely that for about a few years, and kind of transitioned. So I got a wealth of knowledge of every loan you can do: conventional, FHA, USDA, VA, reverse mortgage, as well as investor product, non-QM products too.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. I don't think I've ever asked you that. I know you said you've been with them 25 or been in the industry for 25 years. I was like,
Yeah, in the industry. So give you wealth of knowledge in that sense. So definitely can, that's what try to make sure. My whole goal is always with the client is it's not about I call it transactional with the client, really trying to help them to find the best loan for them that makes sense and without pressure.
good for you. Okay, good. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Nancy, did you have a question for Robert?
Yeah, what is the insurance, or not the insurance, the interest rates these days? How high did they go?
Well, interest rate, if you look at typical, if you're looking at a 30-year mortgage without, if you got decent credit, you're putting down 20%, you still be around you'd be like five something, and you'd be in the fives, high fours, mostly fives still.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, I would say still historically low because rates have been as high as 16%.
Yeah.
So,
I remember those days.
yeah. So still decent. As well as tell people that if you're trying to buy a home and you don't need to sit on the sideline, get in there and get the house you want. You can always down the road refinance because the market will shift back, and you want to be in a position to have your home versus you still looking for a home. And you can always refinance to a rate and term, no cash out to try to reduce your interest rate in your term, or just reduce the interest rate. So still a good time to buy.
Good. Robert, I'm listening to you and your particular approach with your years of experience and how you like to consult with those who are interested in getting a mortgage. And I'm wondering, I know that there are the true investors that purchase properties, flip properties, are in the business. But there's also I guess another group of individuals who may have more than one property simply because they maybe manage a property that they've inherited from a family member, manage maybe a summer property, a vacation property, or something of that nature. And I would guess that those individuals managing more than one property are still interested in working with somebody who knows their stuff and can give them a consultation based upon their financing needs with that particular property. So do you work with that group of individuals, not the true investor flipper, but just those that have more than one type of property and looking for refinancing opportunities or helping manage
Yeah, I still work with those individuals as well. Those individuals, we still fall in those two buckets. Either you are you say you're not, hey, I'm not a true investor, but I have a property that a summer home. We
Mhm.
consider that a second home. If it's if it loans that it's a second home when you may be there, you may be in it 50, maybe 6 months or 3 to 6 months a year, and you're not leasing it out to anyone. If you're leasing it out to someone, it's considered an investment property.
Okay.
And if you have a property that you inherited from your family members, and you're never gonna you've been just you inherited, it's in another state or maybe in the same state, and you leasing it out to someone, that's considered an investment property. It's just one home. And you're not a typical investor. You're trying to have multiple homes. It's still an investment property. It all depends on what's the occupancy that you're using to determine if it's a second home or is an investment property, but as well as if it's somewhere in the same state or in the same city. If say you're across, like if you like here in Indy and you live across town, well, here in cross town, it had to be for me to consider it from guideline standpoint. In order for me to consider it an investment, I mean a second home, it has to be more than 50 miles away
Okay.
to do that. Or if it's if it's in the same state, it's got to be more likely on a lake, like a lakefront property. And so it's not your typical home. So it's easy to say, hey, I take my boat up there and I go out there and I hang out there for the weekend or during the summer. You close it up. That can be considered a second home. But the rule of thumb is 50 miles or longer can be considered in order for me to consider it a second home. And you got to prove it that is some kind of summer cottage or something like that. And that's going to be a little bit more documentation than just giving your word. Because underwriter's going to look for it. Yeah. So it depends on what people are trying to do. Then some people are thinking, oh well, I'm only going to let my son live. Well, even if you let your son live there, your daughter live there, it'd be considered an investment property. Then the distance becomes the second part. But I work with all individuals, like a lot of people, investors now, that people who maybe have 5 to 6 homes and they write everything off. So now we have, and they can't. We're talking about prove it on paper. They couldn't. They can make prove it through bank statements, but they can't prove it the conventional way of tax returns and P&Ls. P&Ls show a loss. We have we call non-QM product, which allow me to call it DSR, debt servicing ratios, meaning that I use that one house that you have, one of the house you're trying to refinance, and use the rental income that you're getting from that property to try to qualify you without no other documentation. But that's that. There we do have an appraisal done, have a rent schedule completed. As long as the rent schedule come back and it's enough to support the market, at least 1%, 1-to-1 market ratios, then that's a pretty straightforward deal. So there's many ways to make something work for people once you understand what they're trying to do. If you were if you were strictly doing the vacation thing, being a travel person, and that was all self-employment, and you're doing very well, you say, hey, and you say, hey, on bank, I can't prove it through my taxes because I write everything off, but I can show you a cash flow on my bank statements all day long. 12 months of good cash flow come in. We can use called a bank statement program. Maybe you 1099, so your 1099 shows you you show enough income from 1099, but you don't. But again, you write it all off. I can use a 1099 program for you. So we got different ways to try to make things work. Depends on what you have and how we need to document it. That's what doing a great discovery to person better understand what you're trying to do, and then show them the programs.
Awesome. So again, your breadth of experience, knowledge base, and the fact that your company does mortgages in all 50 states really gives you a lot of credibility to be a desirable mortgage consulting source for folks.
I take my time with people, and it's not about me with trying to again find partners, people that want someone to really counsel them versus just trying to turn it over.
Yep.
It's just transactional. I said, well, transactional don't always get you where you want. Sometimes you end up, one, you running, trying to run hard, and then you end up faltering and nothing goes through and you waste a lot of time and money, which is basically because you're trying to, a lot of people try to call it, trying to pull a fast one on you. I said, well, you can't really pull a fast one on me because I'm going to figure out, if I don't figure out, underwriters have more tools than I do. And you're going to, and they're going to figure out. And so it doesn't really help people to try to just be honest with me. Tell me up front what our obstacles are. Let me know so that I can tell you if I can get around them or how we need to present them. So the goal with everything is to underwrite is not the underwriter tell your story. We want to tell underwrite the story. And then our chance of getting that loan done is much stronger than versus underwriters looking at the file and then telling us what we need to do. So I pride myself on because I used to like say underwrite my own files with the junior underwrite the file itself before we even submitted it. And
Awesome.
before you had a chance to do it. So I'm back from the old school. It was a lot of work.
Great. Thanks again, Robert.
You're more than welcome.
Okay, are there any other questions for Robert and Bay First? Okie doke. Well, again, my name is Dawn Evans Casey, and my company is Spa Travel. It's a full service travel agency, and we do everything from car rentals, hotel reservations, all-inclusive resorts, domestic and international flights, destination rail, cruises, the whole gamut. As we are entering the warm summer months periods, we are in high season for travel. If you know of anybody who is interested in working with a certified travel professional in planning and booking their travel, Spa Travel is here to help. I also like working with individuals who are interested in getting into the travel business, who want to learn about the industry, make a little income, whether it's full-time, part-time, or spare time. If you know of anybody who is interested in becoming a certified travel agent, I'd be happy to speak to them. Again, my name is Dawn Evans Casey, and my company is Spa Travel. I have, as of late, seen a lot of interest in individuals who want to travel to a destination and then perhaps do either a riverboat cruise or an ocean cruise from that destination to another, and then spend the back end of their vacation in a new and different surroundings. So while that trend is heightening for the 2022 season, if you know of anybody who's interested in ideas of where to go to take advantage of that, whether you want to cruise out of Florida and do something Caribbean and end up in anywhere in Mexico, the Caribbean, or South American locations before you enjoy and come back to the United States. Or I know I've got a trip planned for myself and my husband. We're going to go out to the Pacific Northwest, take a cruise from Seattle to Vancouver, enjoy a little bit of British Columbia in Canada before we come back to Indiana. So there's plenty of options out there. If you know of anybody who may be interested in traveling this summer, this fall, please let them know. Spa Travel is happy to help. Are there any travel related questions that I might be able to help with this evening? All right. Well, we will move along into our topic discussion for the month of June, which is juggling, or just do it. A little bit of both. As Jennifer was mentioning earlier, it's a lot about that life-work balance. And I'll just add, I know I personally, from the month of May and into June, have had a lot on my plate lately. But I'm not discouraged. I don't have that guilty feeling that either the personal life or the work life isn't getting, you know, all done the way that I originally imagined it would. I often feel very motivated and energetic and happy to take on a lot of tasks that support all of the interests and endeavors that I do. And as I mentioned, my travel this past holiday weekend, which while it was focused on genealogy, which supports my family history nonprofit, it certainly was travel involved as well. So I got to find some wonderful destinations, gather up information that supports my travel business and supports my genealogy family history at the same time. And I often feel like I can integrate my interests into with each other so that I can glean benefits and make the best of situations. I'm not always successful in all of the time management, but I don't beat myself up about it. I know that things will work out. Sometimes schedules change, and I have learned to be a lot more flexible with myself and my time to accommodate hiccups or unknowns that occur. And I guess even though right now is a pretty busy time amongst my businesses, my day job, which is the contract auditing, as well as my other interests, I feel like I'm getting stuff done. I can't tell you exactly that I have a resource that helps me manage it all wonderfully, juggling, keeping all of the balls in the air, but it is working out right now. And I think a lot of it has to do with positive mindset and some basic organizational skills. So that's my story right now with my juggling June, and I'm going to open the floor to others to tell us a little bit about your work-life juggling experience, you know, what you're dealing with and what helps you manage best.
For me, I have a real hard time turning it off. I've probably gotten better. That was one thing this morning. They were all, the group was talking about that they just after a certain point, they turn it off. I come from the insurance world, and when Brendan has talked about how tough that is, that I'll tell you, it really, really is. It is tough to, you know, to close the door or to say, I'm not going to answer any more calls tonight or whatever, or, you know, I mean, so I completely understand her. I just completely, anyway, I don't know if that makes sense, but that is, I'm not very good at turning it off. But then on a weekend like this past weekend, I have a hard time turning it back on. Do you understand what I'm saying though? It's like, you know, it's such a nice, I like what I do, but it's hard. Do you all have, is it easy for everybody else?
It's not a challenge for me turning off and turning on. I think it, at least in my mind, I have a built-in system for who I need to communicate with when I'm ready to step away, so that there are clear understanding and expectations of what's about to happen next and when's the best time to reach out to me. And then turning it back on, because all of the things that I do, I really love and have a passion for. I'm excited to get back to them usually. So it doesn't take a whole lot to get me back in it. But I want to hear other people's responses to that as well.
But I guess when you think about it, it's just about, is it a passion or is it a task? So for me, having a balance, if it's a passion, you always want to say you need a balance of work. And when a holiday comes, you have a time to step away from work. You should be able to do that and I call it refresh yourself and have it. When you're coming back, you have a process how you come back to work when you come back to work, because it's already there. You're already you're just stepping away. When you come back, you've already got things lined up that you can be doing when you come back to work. But as long as it's a passion, but when it becomes just a task, then the task becomes and then it's it's controlling you, because you're trying to get this done and you're moving right along and you really have never stepped away. But taking a moment away allow you to regroup, refresh, and recenter yourself again to come back to it. So you always, even when you're at nighttime, there's only so many hours in a day, you have to say, okay, there's a beginning and end, and how do you end, and how you set yourself up for the next day. Really, like for me, is I get to my day done, and then before I shut down, I recap my day, and I'm creating my sheet, my task for what I need to do for the next day when I'm coming in, when I'm starting out in the morning. Yeah, it may change, but at least I know I have a starting point where I'm going to start. And my day, I set up my morning the same way. So I'm not letting the work control me. It's me controlling the work and understanding how it needs to happen in order, because I got to always be originating something and as well as processing things and as well as follow-up. So it's a balance and knowing how to do that. So you're not always focused on one. If you focus on one thing, you're never going to get, your day is always going to get lost. So you got to know how you need to balance your day to keep everything moving right along. How much prospecting you're doing, when do you prospect, how much are you originating, how much are you processing, and when are you originating? Because you got to be more originating than processing, because you always look for new business. New business got to be what you got bigger top of mind always in my world.
Good information, Robert. I agree with you. I just have a hard time. I guess I'm enjoying too much of my downtime, not my downtime, my breathe time. I feel like I can't quite figure. I mean, I guess the juggling and all of that's more for my benefit than anybody else in the network. Everybody else has got it figured out. I don't know. I just think it's something it's interesting to hear people's take on it. Not that, that anybody's writer or wronger or whatever. Everybody does it their own way, but I think that makes sense. That's why you've been with the company, in your line of work for, what'd you say, 25 years? That's probably explains what's been successful, right?
Yeah, it's really, you got to find out, in order to make your day fulfilling, you have to be able to get through your day and feel good about your day and feel good about your tomorrow, what your tomorrow should look like. Because today is today and yesterday is yesterday, but tomorrow is, hey, am I going in something new, the same, or going through the same chaos again? So and that makes, when you go into chaos every day, that's very defeating.
Yeah. That should be your hint that something needs to change. You've got to perhaps take a different path. I think that when you can visualize in your head, what does a good day look like? What are your minimum expectations, at least? When you reach that, okay, I can feel accomplished. But if you do even better, it feels like awesome. That's that energy and motivation to keep going. And hey, let's see if I can have another wonderful day. If some of this good stuff can happen again. So in the balance of things, I think like Robert was saying, kind of planning, looking forward to the day ahead, and then reassessing in the evening, that becomes more of the routine, click on, click off, or whatever the time schedule is for you. When you make it more of a routine and you know what you want to expect that's going to be productive and good and comfortable for you. And if you get even better, wonderful. And even if something happens off-putting that's not in the schedule, you can feel like you're cushioned or prepared to deal with it. You've got enough energy, or you've got peace of mind to be able to at least get your arms around it, not dread it, but say, okay, let me buckle in and get this one done so I can feel good about it, get past it all.
Yeah, you have to set yourself up where you can assess yourself to know what you're doing. If you don't have a plan of action, how do you assess yourself? How do you know what's working, what's not working? Because and when do you need to pivot when you see how can you be proactive as much as you can when you're seeing the pitfalls, seeing something that's descending or going when you need to change or need to add something to it, or sometimes just refresh. Just refresh it and it's okay, great. Because if you can't assess yourself, assess the task, assess what you're doing, you're never going to. So how do you know what is your measurement itself of success? You say, well, I'm spinning my wheels, but what am I getting? Am I moving forward or am I standing still? Do I need to pivot? When do I need to pivot? So you always have to be looking at that yourself and everything you're doing because you can measure where you are. And then I always tell people, and I used to tell people you should work for me. I said, well, when your job, when the work you get up to do is controlling you and you have no energy for it, maybe it's time to do something different.
Right.
And maybe it's time to do something different. I said, and that's okay when you have reached your peak. And if you have reached your peak and you think you need to do something different, that's okay. Make the move yourself. Don't let it force you out. And that's
Right.
the wrong way to go. So that's all. So I said, and nothing wrong with doing something different or starting over something different. And that may be what maybe it is, because in this world I live in right now, I've seen this valley many times of the market and how it has taken a lot of people out because they weren't prepared for the valley. And the valley takes you out and boom. And sometimes when you're working for yourself, we both know you need revenue to continue to sustain yourself. But when you're spending more out than you have coming in, you got to assess yourself again. How do I get lean and weather the storm, or am I in a tornado where it's just tore up everything? I have nothing to support it. It's just just being. I used to have like my brother. I shared a story. He's a truck driver, but he's terrible at business. I had to tell him that. He wanted me to do that. I said, well, you've been driving a truck and you went independent, but you have not benefited nothing, no, not one bit. I said, you were in the red and you have no reserves. And then he got hurt. And then now he's hurt. He can't drive. And he's talking about trying to bring on my cousin, who is a truck driver, to try to, in his world, in his own head, in his own world, he's thinking that he can maintain his business and make him and my cousin him can share. I said, well, help me understand that. I had to ask him some honest questions. He couldn't answer those questions. I said, you have no assets, no reserves. So how in the world can you support someone else now driving the truck, and then you're going to take care of you and them, and you have no reserve to take care of just the basic necessities of the business? I said, so you do better just to call them, tell them, cancel the meeting, sell the truck, cut your losses, and move on. And I said, that's a reality check for him. I said, you sit in your head thinking something different, but the reality is there for you right in front of you. And sometimes we all have to face the reality of things because we, in our head, we believe what we see. That's but the reality is it's not there. And we all have to face that at times.
Yeah. Okay.
Nancy, have you got any thoughts on the work-life balance and what are your strategies?
Honestly, I mean, I usually do one business during the day and then turn around and try to get some of the insurance done at night. And sometimes, and I could see that I'm back in the stage of cold calling people to try to get my clientele increased so that I can then live off of like referrals from them. So I'm at that stage. And there are days and there are weeks where, you know, I make no calls. And then there are other weeks where I'm really productive. And I have to figure out a way to be that productive every week. I say that, and then Sunday, I did absolutely nothing. And I was feeling guilty for not doing nothing. You know, it's like, that's interesting. You know, take one day off, because normally my weekends are just as busy as my weeks, because I'm doing something on the weekends, if it's emailing people or texting them or even doing Facebook posts. I mean, to post every day on Facebook, I try to schedule the whole month over the weekends, because I'm not going to do it every day. I'm not going to remember to do it every day. So I pre-post my whole month as early as I can. So those are my weekends. And I remember thinking I should be doing something, but I didn't even pick up my computer. And it kind of gave me enough energy on Monday that I did get back into it and start doing what I was supposed to do, just to start getting that, you know, posting for the month and that done. But you do have guilty. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel guilty a lot of times when, you know, you're sitting there plopped in the chair watching something on TV rather than working. It happens. And I know it shouldn't, but if I want my long-term success, I've got to work hard now. And that's where I am.
Okay, I hear you. It sounds like, and listening to you, Nancy, and Jennifer had mentioned with the group she met with earlier, you know, when I hear that guilty feeling about putting off actions towards goals that, you know, we've planned for, that maybe is the guilt itself motivating for you? Is that, because I don't spend a whole lot of time in a guilty phase at all. I guess I'm recognizing if I've made a decision to do an alternate task, I recognize I'm making that decision, and maybe plan B kicks in at that moment to accommodate for it. So I guess I just don't spend a whole lot of time feeling bad about my decision, because I know what I've got to redirect and change to accommodate the decision that I'm making. But for some people, I could see if the guilty feeling is motivating them, that's kickstarting them to get back on track or something of that nature, then I suppose there is value in that. Is that what I'm hearing, or do you think that that's what folks are experiencing there?
You know, you say that, but then, okay, I vacuum instead of doing anything on my business. I don't get guilty feelings over that because I've accomplished something else.
Yeah.
But when I'm sitting in front of the boob tube, just binge watching the Obi-Wan series, it's like, oh, look, what, you know, or right now I'm into the hockey games because they're in the playoffs. So it's like, oh, look, hockey. You know, whole nights can go away with just watching hockey games. And I'm not even that big of a fan, but this time of year, it just sucks me in. And it's just, I stare at it and watch it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Maybe
I think
you're
about stuff
right.
like that and I immediately bucket it in, well, this is my self-care. Something in my, in my atmosphere, I need this me time right now. And that's valuable. So I'm
Yep.
going to enjoy it, not feel guilty
Mhm.
about it, but I know there's an alternate path, because I'm taking this time, I've got to be able to pick up and do something else, or my process may change a little bit because those goals are still there. I still got to do the other stuff. I don't want to feel bad
Right.
about it, but I know, yes, there's still stuff to be done.
Very good.
I guess if you can kick yourself back into doing it, I was thinking about what Robert was saying, and at one time I used to hate everything I did. I don't hate what I do. It's just getting myself back in that mode after, enjoying a nice weekend, or, and I did a lot of stuff on Saturday. I think we just got so much going on right now. I don't think it's not like I think there are people that have come along in our network even that you can recognize they don't like what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't say they don't like what they're doing, but they don't like what they're doing. I say I like insurance. I never told anybody I loved it. I just admire the people who can do it. There are those moments. I look at what what we've accomplished in our network over the last 10, almost 11 years. And it's kind of like, I'm really proud of what we did and to take or what we've done. So for me to take, like yesterday, my husband and I just had a nice day. We didn't have any obligations, and, we're doing a lot of stuff, but, used to be though, that I kind of was where Robert was talking about, if you don't get excited to get every day I get up, I'm like, who can I talk to now about TTR? Who can I sing for? I get it. I'm happy. I'm not, even though I'm still trying to integrate and balance it. I'm not at a point where I want to chuck it all in and say I'm done. That's not really, isn't it? I guess, but that's his perspective was interesting, because I'm like, I don't want anybody to think I don't want to do this. I just have a hard time sometimes bouncing back, because it is it's exhausting. We all have very, they're consuming things that we're doing. And by the end of the week, sometimes I can hardly talk. But it's not because I haven't been doing what I want to do all week and talking. I just need to take a day or two and rest,
Mhm.
Yeah. That's a true statement, because when you think about it, it's that there's 365 days in a year. Do you love getting up every day? You don't.
Mm-mm.
But there's one thing that you say, I say, get past this one day. So if every day is a struggle, then that's a different story. But there's
Right.
365 days in a year. Hey, do you love every day? No. But it's some days you guys just push through that. And you just got to push through that. And you push through that. And when you push through, and they'll get to, hey, that day becomes even awesome. It might be just getting through that hour, or just one day. I know, like I used to tell my people, he's working, and what I do myself. Sometimes you're working hard, and you feel like you're spinning your wheels. I said, does it make sense to continue that time spinning your wheels, or just, hey, call time out, shut down, maybe take a walk, or maybe it's just to shut down and start the next day. But it just, as long as it's just this one time, but it can't be constant. So
Right.
people, it's telling me it's okay to feel like you don't have the energy, but can you push through to get to the other side to get your second win? I kind of use this to like running. When I'm running, I say when I'm running out there, I say when I get to the 3 mile mark, I may feel sometimes the 5 mile mark, I may feel okay. I feel like I want to stop, but I just say, but my leg's okay. my mind said I just got to push through the mental state and push through, and the energy's there. And that's sort of the same thing for work. I said, you just got to get past the mental state. And if you have a good work ethic and a good mental state, you'll get through that tough day or that tough hour and recognize that sometimes it's just a day. When nothing is working, you say, hey, let me just fold this day in, go do something totally different, refresh yourself and move on. And then refresh and then come back the next day ready to move, knock it out. Along with this every now and then. So that's okay. So how you feel is okay. It's just that when it becomes the constant, then you got issues.
Right.
But I always say, but you're human. We all will wake up in the morning like say, hey, I'll wake up in the morning. We wake up in the morning like, okay, I know I gotta go do this, but I'm maybe not in the mind yet. I just gotta take your moment, whatever you need to do to get yourself focused. We always say sometimes it's just some of the things of when you have to drive to work is in the car, clearing your head as you approach, and when you get to the building, you get out the door, your mind you start homing it in. When you open the door of your job, all right, let's go to work, because you had time to clear it. And then sometimes, like even when you leave work, you have to drive home, and as you drive home, you clean you're shutting things down to be prepared to go home and be present at home versus driving. And then when you work from home, what I do is basically I start mentally shutting down. And then I use my cap is when I recap and writing out what my next day gonna look like. That is where I'm closing and moving forward, moving that way for the next day. So you just got to find your routine.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So I would just say, I'm not quitting. Don't get that idea. I know we're past the time, but I know one of the things that the send out cards, kind of one of the leaders in send out cards says, never quit on a bad day. Never quit, because those bad days are only, like Robert said, as long as they're not every day, they're occasionally, then you can, that's exactly. And how many days we've all had those days where you're like, I can't believe nothing wants to work. Everybody's against me. And I do think when you're coming back from a vacation or a nice holiday weekend or something, you're always kind of like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? I'm doing this. And then you get into it and you realize why you do it, because you love what you're doing. Yep. But it's just getting back into that routine. Good one, Robert. Thank you for that. That's a great way to. So
wonderful message to end the call on. Mindset matters. So that is probably, a very strong key to the work-life balance. Our mindset and, acknowledging that every now and then we may be off schedule, but it's not routine. We can push through with the proper mindset. Okay. Right. I hope that everyone has enjoyed the discussion this evening and have some ideas in your head on how you can help each other member-wise with referrals or getting their information out, as well as advancing your own business and meeting new potential clients and customers. So go forward, have a very prosperous week, and we will look forward to seeing you all again next Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Zoom. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.